All right, guys, welcome back to Something Like Therapy, the show where we hope that you leave better than how you felt. And today's special. I'm actually working with my best friend, my wife, my babe, wifey, Miss Precious Payton. You want to say?
Hey.
All right. This is definitely. I was thinking about today's podcast and just saying like, how dope is it to work with your best friend? It's like school when the two teachers trying to separate the two. So it actually helped me. It helped me with like things I want to talk about. I was like, you know what, this is my best friend. So it don't matter what we talk about, we got it. So anything you want to say? Want to say hello or
I
anything?
said hey
You
to the
said the hey.
people.
All right.
We just gonna say hey to the people.
All right. So mainly, I guess having you here today is just kind of letting them know kind of who we are.
Okay.
Talk about one of the things with the podcast. I always talk about transparency, and even though it's something like therapy, that doesn't exclude us.
Right.
I want people to know what we're going through. So I figured, what better way than to bring the person who sees me when the camera's off? Because it's one thing to be a certain way in front of them
Yeah.
or at work, but you actually see me at home when the badge is off, or the camera's off. You see me being goofy, stuff that they'll probably never see right
Exactly.
away. Uh, but
Unless I catch you on camera.
say it again.
Unless I catch you on
No,
camera.
I erase that. I'll erase that. So let's big thing. We just got married for the second time.
For the second time.
Yeah. So
So this year though was April 10th.
right,
Our real date is April 11th.
right. So explain that. Like tell them what that means.
So we were supposed to get married during COVID, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We didn't have our big ceremony. Everything was postponed. And I cried and I cried and I cried because I really wanted my date. I needed 4/11. And this guy,
Well,
no,
harp on how you cry. Harp on how you like you. It's like it gotta happen. It gotta happen.
I don't think I was like that.
Uh-huh.
So this guy
Yeah.
ended up going behind my back and making it happen. So we ended up having a small wedding last year. And it was nice. I appreciate it. It was beautiful. But at that time, he surprised me with the wedding, and I surprised him with a positive pregnancy test.
Yeah. So I will say with that, I thought like, oh, I got it. Like I'm getting ready to set the tone for the entire year. Like, and what was crazy about that, we were so sure about the date that I actually went and got the tattoo.
Even before the date.
Yeah, just before the wedding, I got the tattoo on my arm. I was like, okay, this is our date.
Mm.
And then when the world shut down, I was like, no, I have to get this. I have to make this happen. So I'm thinking, I'm getting ready to shut it down. Like this is the ultimate best gift. And so I remember we had the wedding. It was already emotional because you were happy, so it made me happy. And then you had the little box, and I'll explain it kind of to them. She had like a white box. She was like, open it up. I'm thinking she had like my favorite drink, like some couple shots, and I'm like, yay! I open it up, and we got to get back to this. I opened it up, and it was a blue and pink pacifier, blue and pink T-shirt, and then the blue and pink pregnancy test. And she was saying like, we're pregnant, and yeah, I was like, wow, like you shut it down.
So I topped you.
Yeah,
My
you
surprise
did.
topped yours.
You actually
Okay.
did. And to harp on that though, we actually did plan for
Yes.
one child.
We wanted a girl because we have so many boys.
We're blended families, so it's like let's plan for a baby. Let's do it the right way. So, but what she didn't know, she put the pink and blue, not knowing, like I'll just whichever it is, you set the tone, and we end up having twins,
A boy and a girl.
Yeah, so you did that.
I probably jinxed us.
Yeah, you definitely did. But we had that wedding, and because we had already paid for.
Yeah, so we paid for everything already. So we had to switch the ceremony date and everything else to 2021. So we were like, how cool would it be to get married a day before your anniversary? Like, who gets that? And not only that, I got a new band to my ring. So, like, I mean, if we want to get married again next year,
No, that's
it's
not
like the
happening.
fourth.
That's
Okay.
too big.
Okay. And then we finally got to go on our honeymoon. But wait, you want to talk about the wedding
The
more?
wedding.
Yeah.
Yes. So the wedding, here we are a year later, and we're excited about the wedding. And
Finally.
everything is happening. And then the wedding, it just, I mean, we'll bring future podcasts about like what happens behind the scenes of our life, but the wedding just matched all of the other things we dealt with. It was in April, so we were expecting nice green grass, sunny.
Yeah.
You know, we were almost thinking it's probably going to be too hot for.
Because the
what we had on.
wedding, the ceremony part is under a pavilion
Yeah.
outside on a golf course, and then the reception was inside.
Yeah, so
Which
in our
is-
minds, you can imagine, oh, beautiful spring. No, it was cold. It was rainy. So we're like, I actually had to look it up. Like, okay, what
What
does
does this mean?
to rain on your wedding day? Which actually, if you look it up, it is some, a lot of cultures believe it's good luck.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was thankful for that. But
It's
then,
obviously good luck you married me twice.
Twice, yeah. Without any shotgun wedding or anything like that, yeah. And also, what people don't know, even that morning, we had to take our twins to urgent care. People didn't even know that, so they saw us later that day, but I was in urgent care.
The
like,
morning
hey,
of our wedding.
we gotta hurry this up. I'm supposed to be at the altar soon. But it was just that day was like, man, like this is our life, you know. But we made it. You know,
Yeah,
we made
and it
through
was a
that.
good time. And honestly, I'm just gonna kind of go back to the actual wedding. I don't even feel like we hung out much, which is crazy. Huh?
You and I?
Yeah.
No.
And I'm like, we didn't get many pictures together.
Nope.
Bananas. But they always say it goes like so quick. You're pulled every direction. But we do want to say thank you to everybody that attended.
Yeah,
for
absolutely,
sure.
absolutely.
We know it's a pandemic, and you know the fact that you guys came out was awesome.
Yeah,
At
because
least
we haven't actually talked about it yet. It was all right. So let's go into that because I had some things I wanted to. So I'm big on time. All right, I have to let them know I'm big on time. Like let's start on time.
I'm always late, but not this time.
Yeah. So my guys, we're standing there, and she don't know it. Of course, I can't see her. So we're standing there, and I'm looking first. Let's air this. I didn't know on the invitations. She started 30 minutes before it was actually supposed to start. So she told everybody 2:30. Was it 2:30?
And the wedding started at
And
3.
the wedding actually started at 3. But she did that for certain
So people wouldn't be
It was
late
always late. So I didn't know that. So people showing up.
at 2:00.
Yeah, at 2. And they're like, hi. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be bad.
And it's cold outside.
And it's cold outside. And so you have women with the sleeveless and got the guys with the tight t-shirts on. And like you see guys like nipples poking through the shirt. I'm like, oh man. And so we're there and we're just talking. And then eventually I'm like, okay, all right, this is bad. 2:30 hit. I'm like, what's going on? 2:45 hit. I'm like, all right, the wedding should be starting soon. I told the preacher, I was like, hey, let everybody know it really starts at 3. 3 o'clock hits. I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and get started. Then I see girls from your party come upstairs in robes. I'm like, come on. And my guys is like, it's cool, bro. I'm like, let's get started.
I'm sure there's ladies out there that get what is happening right now.
Absolutely, they understand. But I'm sitting there, and people walking in. I was like, "Hey, we just gonna come in, just warm up a little bit." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, y'all." So I'm making up excuses. I'm just like, you know what? The grass, it has to make sure it's 10 minutes. I'm saying anything, but then like 3:15 hit, 3:20 hit, and then I think right before we started, your maid of honor came up, and she was in a robe. But then somebody told me she put it on just to come upstairs, and I was just like. So this whole time I was like, what is going on down there? But then you was able to explain to me.
Yeah, for the record, I lost 2 garters.
Yeah.
Okay? One was personalized, which would have been amazing.
What was on it?
Your badge number. And the one I threw said, you're next with handcuffs. Pretty dope, because I'm a dope person. And then the second one, I don't even know. Yeah, it was rose, gold, and black. I needed my rose gold to match my ring.
Okay.
That's important.
I believe you.
But that wasn't really the reason we were late.
Go ahead, air them out. Air them out.
Your sisters
yeah.
were the reason.
So-
we were late. I love y'all, but they were the reason why we were late.
So I found out later it was my biological sisters, like not just friends. I was like, "Are you serious?" So this whole time, but I'm glad I didn't. I was just sitting there, calm, cool, and collected. So
After all of that, though,
yeah,
it was still an amazing time.
No, it was a ball. But if you guys could see like the preacher trying to talk and his hat kept flying, like his hat kept flying.
When I was walking down, my veil kept hitting Uncle. Wait, it was wrapped around his head.
Oh yeah. So it was just imagine us outside trying to.
Windy.
Yeah. Do you take this? And it's like, and then even when we walked down the aisle, the runner, they had to hold the runner down with rocks. I mean, and it's in our pictures too. I was like, why?
The ghetto.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? Just this day is about something else. So it was fine, but it was good, and we got to go on a honeymoon, and so that was our wedding story.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. I'm glad it happened the way it did. Like we needed that. All right.
Do we? Yeah. That was.
So I did want to kind of dig into some stuff. So that's our wedding story. Let's kind of talk about how we met, because that was so unconventional and completely like Disney handwritten, but like the hood version of Disney. You want to talk about that?
So it was at a high school football game.
Yeah.
My son played for the school, but they were playing so I guess my kids went to one of the schools and then they've attended the other one. So I was like, let me just show up. And you were working that day.
So I was working. So Vontae, he attended the school I worked at currently as a school resource officer.
True.
But he was now attending the visiting school. And so.
And you were being all macho at the front gate.
No, I was working, so I couldn't be all happy while I'm working.
And I was trying to find my son because he didn't know I was there. But here's the thing. I will tell you this.
Go ahead.
I snuck liquor into a high school football game.
You should have been my first arrest for that night.
Look. So this is, I was so scared. I was like, okay, this quick trip club. I wonder if they smell it. I seen that you guys were standing up front. I was like, oh, am I going to go to jail tonight for sneaking alcohol in? I walked past you guys. Whoosh, whoosh. So anyway, tried to find my son. Finally found him. And he's like, I'm with all his friends. All his friends love me. I'm Devontae's mom. Yeah. Yo, I got my own name. Right. You know what I'm saying? No. So all of a sudden, he's like, go to the car. And I'm like, I'm about to go talk to that fine officer up there. And all the kids in sync, like literally all of them. Officer Peyton? And I was like, hold on. You know him? And they were like, he's our school resource officer. And I was like, oh man, in my mind, I felt bad for like 2 seconds. And then I said, well, that's on y'all. Okay? And so anyway.
But you never came out there.
No, I was scared. I'm usually not nervous. Well, except, doing this stuff. But I look at you. And I see you looking at me. Yeah. So now I'm like, oh, hell, I'm nervous now. Yeah. So now I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I'm like, all right, just look away. And I did look away. But then when I looked back, you were still staring at me. I was like, oh, my goodness, this is weird. So I go on about my business. But then a fight breaks out.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, I see Officer Peyton run into the fight. But instead of taking the steps or whatever, I guess you wanted to show off.
I was trying to show off a little bit.
You jumped over the rail.
Thank God I made it. Because
if you didn't,
we would not play it.
Oh, we would. We're just goofy. Maybe I would have laughed at you for sure. But anyway, so let's just kind of sum it up. I go to the, I guess, visiting team side, and I'm a big sister to, I'm in the Big Brother Big Sister program. Yeah. So my little sister attends the school. And I was telling her, I said to Mia, I was like, there is this fine officer that I need to talk to. Like, I need his name and his number. And she's like, where? And I tried to find you. And you were gone. I was like, oh, no. And I told Trey that he was going to the school at that time.
You blushing on camera, too.
I was like, what am I going to do now? Because I didn't know where you went. So I was so sad. So we were looking. And then at the end of the game, we walk out. And there you were. And she said, excuse me, Mr. Officer, my sister want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Do you know how embarrassing that is
Yeah,
when she was like 15, 16 and I'm grown?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my goodness. I was so nervous. I shook your hand and I was like, don't you want to pull me over? Or something like that.
It's just
Man.
nervous talk. Normally I wouldn't have, I was like, nah, that's not how we do it. But you were so pretty.
Oh.
And I was like, of course. You know, I was like, of course. Like,
And then I told Trey, now mind you, he's what, 7th grade? Sixth grade. Sixth grade. I said, go to school Monday. Well, first I asked the boys, what's your name? Because I was going to stalk you.
No.
On social media, not like crazy stalk.
Yeah.
And they were like, Officer Peyton.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, okay, well, what's his first name? And they're like, we don't know. We just call him Officer Peyton. I was like, that's not going to help me find him. Literally, though, no lie. I still looked up your municipality and your name. And I found you. Only on LinkedIn. So I didn't get very far.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough for me. So I said, Trey, go to school Monday. Give Officer Peyton my number. And now Trey is very shy. He's like, I'm not doing that.
Trey is definitely an introvert. So,
yes.
Yeah.
But then I got home from work with Vontae. Trey was like, I gave Officer Peyton your number and your Snapchat and your Instagram. I was like, Trey.
Yeah.
I was so excited. Vontae was like, ugh, Officer Peyton's going to be my stepdad. Well, so being married actually made a blame on him.
Yeah.
He spoke it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I was like, he probably has a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'll let you have that part.
I may or may not have at the time. We won't say. But I had a situation.
There you
I had
go.
a situation.
Yes.
But yeah, he definitely did. But I wasn't on social media. So all the information he gave, and I didn't know who his mom was. So when he came up, I'm in the lunchroom, and we're trying
Let's talk about when you saw me at the game, because you were definitely creepy.
No, I smelled the cup.
You're lying.
That's all it was. I smelled the cup, and I figured. But it was the same thing you said. It's but the when I saw you up past, I was just like, man, she's pretty. And I was like, I'm hoping she's not a high school girl. So that was my first thought. I was like, she's pretty. I hope she's not. And the officer that actually works the high school, I was like, yo, is she in high school? He was like, dude, I don't know and I don't care. I was like, come on, man. Like, is she in high school? He was like, I don't think so. And I'm like,
that's hilarious.
I've already looked more than I'm supposed to, so I hope she's not. And then you looked at me, and I was just like, stop looking, dude. You're being a creep. You looked again, and I was like, stop it. Like, that's like the 4th time. And I was like, she can't be. And then when I heard, like, they was like, Mom, I was like, okay. Thank the Lord. Yeah, I was like, thank she is, and so, but I didn't see Trey, so I didn't know who you were. So when he came up, it's like, my mom wanted me to give you this. I was just like, what? So I called him back up, and he was so nervous. I was like, what is this? He was like, it's from my mom. And he walked away, and I'm thinking, I don't know what his mom is, but he's a cute little kid. So I was like, his mom's probably cute. Let's just check it out. But I had no social media, so I didn't even know how you look when I text you. But eventually I did text her. And
finally.
Yeah, eventually. But
Tuesday, actually.
It actually, not seeing you allowed me to, because we went back and forth on text, it allowed me to hear your heart and not just how you look, because I think it would have played a part. I probably would have tried to impress because of how pretty you were, but this actually allowed me to hear your thoughts. You knew who I was, but I didn't know who you was, and so, which would have been bad, because we had so much thought-provoking conversation, and if I would have saw you and I wasn't feeling you, then I would have to the grass is growing, and I would have to
shallow.
I had to find. No, I just sort of didn't want to waste your time. But that's all it is. All right, so that's kind of how we thought. How we met, but let me ask you this. So when you first saw me, like, what was your first thought?
Well, I was recently divorced. So I just really thought you was really, really fine.
Okay.
But I wanted to get, I needed to know who you were.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Okay.
And then, but when I met you and actually had a conversation with you, I was like, oh, this guy's interesting. Like, he's deep.
Yeah.
So
is that what you expected?
No.
What did you expect?
Just a pretty boy that's a police officer.
Okay.
Stuck up. A-hole-ish.
Okay.
You definitely look like an a-hole.
Why? Like,
Censored.
like what?
You just looked really mean up there, to be honest. I mean, I get you were at work, but you were just like, for kids, intimidating looking. You know, I have to say for kids, because not for me. But you were still fine.
That's my look, though.
Oh, yeah, I know. Still.
That's just my look. That's my, like, what time is it? You know? Hey,
I'm in a
it's
good
dinner
mood.
ready. Yeah, that's all it is. So it wasn't what you expected. I'll say same here. Like, I when I saw you, especially in our area, like, just pretty girls have a reputation, and I thought you were different. You know, like, she's gonna be, you know,
Stuck up-ish.
yeah. Once we actually finally started like exchanging pictures, and I finally met you, and I was like, this probably not gonna be this way. I hate it because she's really pretty, but I hope not. But no, you were so humble. Like, and I shocked. I even said that. I was like,
You judged a book by its cover.
I definitely did.
You did.
I definitely did. But I had to get into the chapters and stuff like that, and you know, so it was interesting. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. What about me?
I answered you. I answered
You know what I'm
you.
saying? Like, how was it different than what you expected?
Oh, well, you're really not an A word.
Oh yeah.
You have comments. So let's not put that on camera for everybody,
Yeah.
because you have moments. But
Yeah,
you're
I don't want people thinking I'm soft.
super goofy. But of course, I get to see it because I'm your wife.
How so?
Oh, babe. You dance. The way you dance and with your... You love Disney.
We just gonna earn that. I thought you was there was a level to what you how you be out like
It's
that.
okay to love Disney.
Yeah,
I love
have children.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, I have children, so.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. But how like you do your goofy dances, like in the room or wherever,
Yeah.
you're just really goofy. I love it. You're,
Okay.
you're down to earth.
Okay.
When people see you, especially your career,
Yeah.
now I get it's your career, you still have that side, but at least at home you're not that. So with the kids, with me, with our friends, our close circle,
Yeah.
people know that you're still like, you're human.
Yeah.
You know, when you're out there working, you're not really human, but
Yeah.
you can't let your guard down, I guess.
Okay. When for you, like when did it get serious? For you, like when did you think it was serious?
So we met in October. You came over Thanksgiving in November,
Okay.
but I was feeling you before that. Okay. And then I was like, why is he taking all day to ask me to be his girlfriend, even though it was only, 4 weeks?
Yes.
6 weeks, maybe?
That's not enough time to read a book. Like, you needed more time to.
But I was telling my sister, I was like, man, why is he taking all day?
Yeah.
Like, do I just need to leave him alone? Because I'm not going to wait around forever. Again, that wasn't forever, but I'm impatient.
Yeah.
So, I was really interested in you the very first conversation we had, though.
Okay.
You made me think a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
People don't do that.
Well, for me, it was. I don't know. I think it's important to get past the just basic stuff. Like once when I go to my school, that can get messy. So I was just like, let's just see. And then I was asking some questions, and your response doing a text, I was just like, man, this is something. And so I was like, I don't want to just know the basic. I don't want to really. Your favorite color will come in time. But I was like, I want to know like, who is she seriously? And I think that no matter who you were, when I met you or when I finally got a chance to see you, I was already taken. But for me, you mentioned Thanksgiving. That's funny because for me, even though it was only 4 weeks, that Thanksgiving, just to fill you guys in, she invited me over. I had my 3 sons at the time with me, and I'm big on securing my boys, make sure they're not meeting just random people. And so I was like, hey guys, we're gonna go over here and we're gonna meet this young lady that I'm talking to, and I'm like, are you guys okay with that? Because if not, like,
Kids trump everything.
Yeah, we'll find something else. And you're like that with your kiddos. And so, but when they walked in, like, because they're shy, and my kiddos they'll sit on the couch and I'm not hungry. And then as soon as we leave, Dad, can we stop at? And I'm like, come on. So as soon as we walked in, like, how you greeted them and how they came to hug you. And they was like, hi. And then they shot past you and started like, all right. Or
Finding the boys.
yeah. And I was just like, that's not normally my sons. They will sit there and just get quiet. And so I was like, that's interesting. And just how they came back to talk to you, and how even when I wasn't with you, they would still come over there and just kind of see what you was doing. And I think for me, I was like,
We took pictures solo.
yeah. Well, I seen them now, but yeah. So it's like that for me. That was that moment that I was like, you know what, this could be more. And then, do I want to do this again with somebody else? So
For the record, I knew you were serious when you asked me if I would be willing to move west.
when did I ask you that?
Thanksgiving, the very first day you came over.
But I think that's after we had a few shots.
Oh,
Maybe.
that's what it was.
Yeah, that's probably what that was.
That's not what it was.
Who? Speaking of, who said I love you first?
Oh, you did.
I did.
You did.
How so?
We were at the mall, which you went to the girl store with me. You don't even like going to the mall. That's how I knew you already liked me, because you don't like going to the mall. Then you went into Windsor. Oops. I don't know. But we went to the store, and you were okay with like me walking around all over the store, because women, we're never able to just go in and get it and come out, So I'm like, oh, I like this and this. We go up the escalators, or well, I know we can go into the big store, and coming down the escalators, going to Bath and Body. You said something on the escalators. I was like, what'd you say? What?
No, what did I say? Do you remember what I said?
You said you love me.
I didn't say I love you.
But I don't remember how it came out. But anyway, I kind of was just like, what did you say? And then they said it again in Bath and Body.
I said,
You said it first.
my wording was something like, it'd be crazy if I said I love you right now. That's how I said it'd be crazy if I said I love you right now. So that wasn't me saying.
But what'd you say?
I said it'd be crazy.
What would you say after that? What'd you say in Bath and Body Works?
You can't blame it on the store. The store smells great. It like brings things out of people. I don't know who said it first.
You said it first.
Okay, I thought you said it after I said that.
Yeah, I did say it after you said it.
Okay. All right.
But you were first. For the record.
All right. So, because we are human, so I want to ask like some things that, and we have good communication at home, all the time. But there are certain things I may not ask right away, so I'm gonna take this time to ask you now. So, yeah. So what? Because of my career field, I do work in law enforcement and the blended family and all of that. What's some of the difficulties of being married now or staying with me? Like, what are some of the difficulties of it?
Well, one, I don't like the fact that you are in law enforcement.
Okay.
Because I need to make sure you come home every night, every day.
Yeah.
And then what's going on these days. Yeah. It's not a fun time to be a cop. But, so that's always concerning. It's always concerning when, even if you're not at work, but people know that you might be a police officer. You never know. You always got a target on your back, I feel like. So it always goes through my mind. That's hard when you have so many kids, especially black boys. Yeah. So it's just a difficult, but I'm glad that you are, on another hand, because then you can show our children that, so that's cool. But I think that's like the most difficult. Okay. You also like to be right.
So, like to being right and being you're saying like I like to be right versus like being right.
No.
That's it. Not gonna touch that subject. So I say recently I just I made a change to give up alcohol, and anyone in my profession, it's something that we do all the time. So how do you feel about that? And then I'm gonna ask you, like, were there moments where you felt like I should have done it sooner, or I think you were okay? But like, give me your honest opinion on that transition.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Okay. It hasn't been long enough for me to like, trust me. I'd be like, oh, I'm like, that's whiskey.
I think it's been like 2 weeks at least. That's a long time though for us, for you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Give me all I was pregnant, so I had
when you get a coin, but give me all my credit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I haven't stopped, so then I do kind of feel a little bad that I'm drinking in front of you because it still tastes delicious. But
so it's not even the same as what I.
No. No. But I think it's a good change for you. I think there was only a couple moments where it was like you probably shouldn't have had that much
Yeah.
that I can actually speak from. But other than that, I mean, like when you're out in public, you're still fine. You're
Yeah.
not belligerent. You're not ignorant.
Yeah.
You're not trying to fight. You're not vulgar, stuff like that. And then at home, same.
Yeah.
But because you're at home, of course, you can go all day, all day, all day drinking. So health wise, it's for the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
A couple issues with you drinking before. There were two instances I think it was that you kind of acted a little different,
Yeah, absolutely.
and I wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, transparent. So I'll put that up there.
you could do that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's my best friend. Shane don't make me look bad, but I know one. I do appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate that I was able to like partake in stuff like that without getting. I'm too big to be, going crazy or something
Yeah.
like that. So I appreciate
I
that.
can't carry you out either.
Yeah. But I do remember the times, this particular time, I know for sure it like we started, and the example I always say when I was telling my brothers is like we started drinking and we were out and I was so cool with the waiter. And then like in my head, it's like, I'm cool with them, cool. And then by the time I got done, I'm like, yo, why is he steady asking you how much you want or what you want? It's almost like I turned on him, and it's like, yo, it's the same person. So it was similar to that, It's just like I know during that time, I don't know, they say brown get you down, white keep you hype, but it was brown. I wasn't down. I was like hype, in those two incidents, and I know I don't know. It's just it brings me up to something. It was almost because of how much I felt I cared for you. Twisted with the help of alcohol, because alcohol kind of cuts off oxygen to your brain. You opened up an insecurity that I didn't know I had, which I mean you guys are getting complete transparency right now, but it opened up a insecurity, and I was just like, man. And I know like I didn't like it the first time. It was just like I felt like you did something to trigger that. So I almost did the blame game. And, I hope somebody's learning from this, but it was almost like, well,
And I didn't do anything.
Yes, you didn't. It was literally like, if a waiter want to bring you water, that's his job. But it was like, it's something clicked, and I was just like, man, like, she did that. That's why. And then the second time it happened, I was so disgusted with myself. And I'm like, this is not you. Like, don't lose it. Like, what are you doing? You've been doing this for years. Like, don't lose it. And then we had been together for a while. And this particular time, I had accused you of something. Yeah, it was, oh my gosh. It was.
Now we don't have to go that deep.
Yeah, but I was like, yo, and people probably don't even know it, but I'm glad that you were patient with me for that, understanding that that wasn't me, but again, there are certain things you just can't keep doing and expect them not to have an effect on you. And because, like I said, my just kind of in the profession, it just goes hand in hand. It's just what you do. And I mean, since we've been together, I'm glad that we can literally talk about the two incidents. With how much I was drinking, and like you said, health wise, I mean, we do health. That's what we do. We're health motivators. We're fitness motivators. So I was like, that's a bad look, but sometimes you don't know, like, what bothers you until there's something. So I'm glad I was exposed to it. And that particular situation, the last one, I was just like, I cannot believe it. And I tried to, from that moment, just kind of watch how I do. But it was good. It was good. You made it a safe place for me to talk about, like, hey, this is an insecurity that I never thought I had, But once I had it, I was like, okay, attack it. It's not enough to know it's there, and you held me accountable. You know how people say, oh, that's just him. He'll never change. Well, shame on the people around him or her, because it's like, change for the better. We all should be better. So you didn't allow me to be like, oh, that's just me. It's just my. No, you was like, hey, I don't accept this. And I was like, I don't accept it for myself. And so we got better. And then just this last time, it wasn't because of the situation, because those had happened,
A long time
yeah, a
ago.
long time ago. But this is just saying,
About 2 years ago.
yeah. But this is just my decision. Like, hey, I want to do something better. I want to be on something higher. So it was just my decision to
Hmm.
give up. So I appreciate that. But I talked about insecurities. Was there any that you had prior to me? There any that you learned during this time that you'd be willing to talk about? You don't have to. You don't have to. I'm not gonna force you.
So I have, which a lot of people be like, they look at me and like, wow, I have ugly days.
Okay.
And so I have insecurities with that. And yet I try to motivate all women to feel beautiful. And
Yeah.
I come off very confident. However, I'm human. So
Yeah.
I have that. So there's days where I feel really ugly and I've cried because I feel ugly or something doesn't fit right. And you've seen that.
Yeah.
But I didn't want you to see that, right? So, but because of who you are and you think that I'm beautiful and all of this, you have tried to help me. And I say try because the person has to feel it.
Yeah.
I have to feel beautiful and all of that. So you can give me all the compliments in the world, which I appreciate. But this is kind of a memo for everybody.
Yeah.
No matter how many compliments somebody gets, if they're not feeling it, they're not feeling it.
Yeah.
And you've made a comment before that it bothers you. You said, don't bash my best friend, don't bash, this. And it's not always easy to just be like, you know what? Your compliment meant so much to me. My whole mind changed. No, so that's one of them. But since we've been together, I feel like I have had less ugly days. So, and I am going to say it's one because of you, two because I'm trying to get out of my own head. So that's kind of, at least that's what comes to mind when you first asked. So that's a big insecurity that a lot of, and I can only speak for women because I only know me being that. But it's like we have that often. Our bodies go through changes. We wake up one day, we're skinny feeling. The next day we feel huge.
Yeah.
Nothing really changed. But with you being my best friend and my husband and my business partner and everything else, like we literally do everything, you do help that.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I know you said one me and then two you, but it's all you, It's all you. I help. But you brought up a good point I wanted to talk about. One, just to help the person who's on the other side of that. Because you for the other person, we don't understand what that person's going through. Like even my insecurity, like we say like, oh, I understand, I get it, but it's you. So I can't say I understand because it's you. I can only try to be there to help. But to help this side, it was frustrating for me because, like I said, like you're my best friend, and it's like, yo, I see you a certain way, and I didn't understand it. I'm like, how can you think you look like this? Where, I think you're the most beautiful woman in the world. So it was or became like,
I
hey,
think we kind of got, not into it, but we
yeah.
kind of got agitated with each other.
Yeah, and so for the record, we actually don't argue. I
Yeah.
love it, but we do have debates,
Yes.
and we do have. I mean, conflict.
We don't get loud.
I always say conflict's neither good nor bad. It's just what it is. But yeah, because I was like, here's my best friend, and you're bashing her. So you know what I mean? Like,
How dare me?
yeah, how dare you? And then the other thing, selfishly, I was like, I have good taste. So if I'm saying you cute, and you saying I'm like, it's a contradiction. But also not knowing, I think for any relationship, the person, whether it's a friend, whether it's a spouse or whatever, not knowing how I can help you, I think becomes frustrating. And so the person in this seat has to be patient. You have to
Yeah.
be patient and allow you to get over there. Because what I didn't want to do and what you can't do is take away that safe space. Because if you come to me and I'm always like, no, here you go again. No, you're not going to talk to me.
Right.
And I'm leaving it open for you to go talk to somebody else. And I
Exactly.
don't want that because I want to be your best friend. But I know for me, it took like patience to just like, hey, you have to accept this. This is how you going to tell somebody else how to feel. And I think we
Yeah.
do that in relationships, whatever the relationship, whether it's family, spouse, work
Kids.
relationships. Yeah, we try to tell the person how they should feel. Oh, you should get over it. Like, you still mourning that? Are you still, worried about this? But I couldn't. And so I had to learn, like, this is how she feel. But I couldn't stop doing my part.
Right.
So I could never say, and I've had to talk to myself, like, yo, don't stop giving her compliments. Don't stop making her feel sexy, just because you're frustrated. So it was a help for me,
Well, I thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to give up, and who's to say that we won't deal with that in the future?
Yeah.
But it still helps because...
Oh, because when I was pregnant?
Yeah. But side note, I told you, when you were pregnant, like, you were, beauty level went up. I was like, I thought, you got my daughter in there. And then we went, and it was like 2 little nuggets. I was like, oh, you got it, girl. But I think that's just something to note, something to know, because whether it's the insecurities or even the thing with birth, a woman pregnant or during that time, it brings a whole nother level of things, just trying to be there. Did you feel, you mentioned it, but how did you feel? Not did you feel, how did you feel with those ugly days and you end up getting pregnant? So did you like battle that during that time as well?
Because I couldn't fit anything after a while, so I got frustrated, and that was just, I think that had more to do with I was just uncomfortable, being 5 foot, 120 something pounds, carrying 2 babies.
That don't stop you to stand up against me though. 6'3" and more than you.
But it's just, I still had days, but when you're pregnant, your emotions are all over the place. Well, you don't know, but when people are pregnant, So
I had a front row
you do
seat
have a lot of kids.
A couple times.
Yeah. But so with that, your emotions all over. You do have ugly days when you wake up sometimes, and then with the fact that like you have this big old belly in the way and you can't fit the clothes that you have, and you refuse to buy maternity clothes. Me, So, but you, like I said, you made it better because you always said you're at your highest beauty when you're pregnant, and I'm like, this man is crazy.
He got me blushing again.
He crazy, y'all. He must be on that stuff. But I feel like it's been better. I mean, I have a mama pouch that I definitely want to continue to work on, but I think that's pretty much it.
Is that
right
like
now.
the Google term? Is that Wikipedia? Mama pouch? Is that
All the women out there know what a mama pouch
All
is.
right, mama pouch. We'll put that in.
We'll have a definition.
I guess like dad bod. This is like a dad.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually did get a dad bod.
When we were pregnant.
Don't point like it's that important. Like it was a little bit, all right?
It wasn't a little bit. You had a thick. You didn't have a neck. You didn't have. This wasn't.
I barely had one. Yeah, but I know it was bad.
But you got your body back.
So. I still have a dad couch. So I'm trying to work on. So I'm drinking this nasty stuff. But okay, I'm trying to sip and you done. With that though, so a couple things I just wanted to hit on. We mentioned we have a lot of kiddos at the house with all of this stuff. How do you feel about the big family? You can't change it now, but like, did you grow up with the big family?
No, not really. I actually just grew up with my mom. I have a sister, but and I have several siblings on my other side. Sperm donor side. Sperm donor side. I'm not even going to claim that. So, however, I talk to some of my family members on his side. As far as my mom's side, I grew up with them. But big family, no, not really. Until 13, whenever I moved in with my aunt and uncle, right? And so then there was a total of 4 of us. Yeah. So if that's, I guess that's kind of, it's bigger than what I was, you know. So then I'm divorced, and I only had, he had 1 kid, which to this day I still claim as my son.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
He's actually come over our house several times and spent the night. So that's pretty dope. What type of relationships do you have that where your ex's kiddo can come to your new?
It's not the kiddo's fault.
Exactly. So. And he's family. You know, he's definitely family. Jaden, we love you. But
Jaden, we love you.
Get it? That's hilarious.
His last name's Love.
Yeah. Look at you. Good job.
That was good.
So, but when I found out how many kids you had, I was like, man, that's a lot of kids.
First of all,
It was. You just asked me. I have to be honest.
Go ahead.
Transparency.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you had a lot of kids, and I was like, okay, I'm used to having one extra, but you have 4 extra. But I was like, you know what? Precious loves the kids. I mean, I do. My house before I met you was the house for the kiddos. People could spend the night, whatever. So it was like whatever. They cleaned and it was natural. I also knew it came with, you know.
Oh yeah, that thing. Yeah, other stuff. But
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I'll jump into that. But I did want to make mention of that because I knew you had a smaller family, and I knew like whatever it was, whether shopping, not just saying you cooking, but just preparing meals and things like that. You went from the small to the big, so that had to have been a transformation. And I don't think I asked enough. Like, is that okay? How can we help in? Because you used to small meal, take her every month versus now we have like a sideline football team. So it's like, this is what we do. I just told the kiddos, like, I was like, I'm so tired of y'all. I was joking, but I was like, every time we do dinner, it's like a sleepover, but it's not. There's no extra kids here. It's like, how many plates we bring down? Just bring them all down, and any ones we don't use, we'll put it back. But so kudos to you because you adapted well to that, and I appreciate. I mean, people understand blended families. I mean, it takes work, and you adapted. And I know when you was giving me that look, when people say blended, what that means is there's a life that I created before I met you. And you still have to deal with that life. And I know for us, we had other parents that we had to deal with, and that's not always easy. Man, it's not always easy. And if you're out there, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Because actually, we both have 2.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you have to deal with who was this guy, who was this girl, and I'm being nice about the names, but you understand. Like I said earlier, it's not the kiddo's fault.
Right.
And then you were so mature about it, because I know one of the things I thought about just maybe something that would have chased you away because you had me hooked. I was like, I don't want to lose her. And I think during the time, it was like a break. The kids want a break. So I had them. So other parents weren't even in the picture because I was like, they're with me, they're on break, but then they'll go back to school. And I was like, So the parents are going to have to be met and known. And I was like, this could be an issue because it has been an issue before. Yeah, vice versa. So, but you handled it so well, even when it got ugly. Like, if you guys have dealt with custody, it's not
Easy.
It can be, but not on my case. It was not pretty at all. But you handled that with grace, and so I appreciate you for that. I don't know, how do you feel like I handled it well?
Yeah. I mean, from my side?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it was just the one situation, but other than
I
that.
mean, it just,
Yeah. But.
Yes, I just got to say,
Yeah, well, that situation, somebody came to our house unannounced, and you just don't.
Yeah. It's just one incident.
Yeah, just
so
one
that's
incident.
not too bad.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything's been respectful as far as, all of that. So.
All right. I got one more thing. So, knowing what you know right now and all the bad, we don't have time to go through like all the stories we have, but knowing what you know, would you do it again?
Just kidding. I did it twice already.
Yeah.
So, of course, I would do it again. I'm already trying to plan our 3rd wedding next year.
We don't want no more COVID or anything like that to happen. So.
No, not COVID. But I would. Yeah. You're worth it. 2nd time's a charm. Yeah. I know they say third time.
But you're not getting another ring out of this. So.
But I've had 3 weddings. Ooh. Look at that.
I like that.
So yeah, I would definitely do it again. And to be honest, blended families can be difficult, and we just got really lucky and blessed. Like, I guess you can't have those 2 in the same, but we were blessed to have. I mean, they just opened up, and the bond that they have now, it's like you have one from yours and one from mine, and they're like identical, and then and they're like best friends. So I think that's pretty awesome, and the respect that they already had for you before becoming bonus dad is just intensified now. So it's just
it was
huge.
the respect you said for they had respect for me as an officer because
Right,
I
right, right.
try to be fair. But then I was
After
worried
a
about
while.
that though because I mean you have a teenage son
Yeah.
that's and he is a protector like
Yeah.
he loves his mom
Definitely.
and I mean he could have easily been like I have a dad, you know, we got this, I don't need a man, you know, he could have easily said that, but it was so on both ends. It took work on both ends, and I think that's important to point out too, because it was. I think for my boys, I felt like it would have been easier. I thought it would just taken more time, and it didn't. But you know, young men may say, "Hey, mom," we might say that a little quicker to just women in our life. You know, men have a harder time to respect
A father figure.
that authority. You know, and so I was like, it'll eventually come. Uh, excuse me. I just thought it would take a while. But for your sons, I was like, this, they know me as officer, but now it's like, this dude, he ain't going home. Like, you know, and I better not see him in the house in his boxes, you know, the whole, which happens
Happens
all the
often.
time now. Like, just, there's literally the teenage boy. Like, it's like, I'll go to the kitchen, try to get some water. He's coming upstairs to use the bathroom. He has his boxes on, I have my boxes on. We just like, what's up?
I'm so glad Parker's here now.
Yeah, the girl, oh, she's going to do the same thing.
In her boxers.
Yeah, but I was glad that relationship it just bonded because I think for me I didn't like I wasn't coming in to say hey I'm dad
Right.
you know
And
it's just like
likewise.
yeah
I know
it's
they
just
have a
like,
mom, so
I'm
I just
here.
want to be extra
Yeah,
mom.
that's what it was like man I'm here and he accepted that and our relationship now you know I wouldn't change it for the world. Same thing with Trey, you know Trey's quiet but you know he also there's little small quirky things that we both like that we won't tell nobody
Which is so
about.
weird. You guys are like identical.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
And today he said, or yesterday, he's like, "How cool is it that I get to flex on my friends and say my mom and dad own a gym?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Dad?" Ooh. I didn't say nothing though because I didn't want to
Let's
make
not
her.
get anybody upset out there. It just
Psh. Listen, I'm living my life,
yeah. No,
and
I appreciate it.
we are proud
Yeah.
of what we've
Trust
accomplished.
me when they say it, when they say like, Dad, I stepdad, trust me. I mean not say nothing, I'll keep typing, but I just look up like, okay. And I just
Someone's
go
cutting
like,
grass.
yeah, yeah, just somebody cutting the grass. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for
Thanks for
making
having me on.
come on now. We do
I was
everything
really
together.
nervous.
I was too. But like I say,
Armpits
best
probably
friend
sweating
thing.
and stuff.
But
Transparent.
you have black on, so it looks
That's
good.
even worse. If it's dark black, then they know I was sweating.
Yeah, but you probably gonna leave a
A butt sweat mark.
on the seat.
I'm gonna do one of these before I get up.
Oh no! All right, so I appreciate you. Let's get
Yes.
up out of here. I want to say I love you.
I love you.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Thank you for making my life easy. You definitely make it.
I'm
easy.
gonna replay this every time I spend some extra money on perfume or purses.
That's smooth. I like how you threw that in there because I can't take it back now. I like how you threw that in there. All
Made
right,
your life easier. I smell pretty.
All right, girl. I'll see you in a minute.
All right, love you.
All right, love you too. What's going on, everybody? So we do want to do our word of the day. Today's word is advantageous. It's ADVANTAGEOUS, and it's involving or creating a circumstances that increase the chance of success. So it's what's going on, everybody. So we do want to do our word of the day. Today's word is advantageous. It's ADVANTAGEOUS, and it's involving or creating a circumstances that increase the chance of success. So it's something that will be beneficial for you. So that takes me into my next thing, which is our book that we are reading, and I'm going to tie them together. The book that we're reading right now is Own the Day, Own Your Life by Aubrey Marcus. And I believe readers are leaders, and so it will be advantageous to read to better your chances at being more successful at work. All right. So if you get a chance, check this book out. And also remember, try to pick a word of the day that helps you build your vocabulary and allows you to succeed in life. All right.